Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Monday, January 23rd, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. The High Inspectorate of Declaration and Audit of Assets and Conflict of Interest has launched an investigation into the wealth of the director of the Audiovisual Media Authority, Gentian Sala. The inspectorate explained that the investigation objectives are to discover the creation and quantity of, the sources of, and the legality of Gentian Sala's wealth, and also any conflict of interest his wealth carries against his duties. The collection of data and information and the verification and administrative investigation will also be extended to his family, his wife and children, and any persons related to him. The Inspectorate General has asked to conduct a thorough and rapid investigation. Gentian Sala, the director of the Audiovisual Media Authority, has been called to report at the Parliamentary Media Commission regarding the way the national licenses have been distributed and over his family's sudden accumulation of wealth. During today's meeting of the Commission, the opposition MPs raised strong accusations against the head of the Audiovisual Media Authority, accusing him of monopolizing the market, of illegally distributing national licenses, and of being in conflict of interest. Mr. Sala has been called to report at the Commission on Wednesday. The Democrat MP, Luciano Bocci, said that the Audiovisual Media Authority cannot hold secret meetings for distributing national licenses while there is a court process against the head of the institution. The AMA director has been sued by RTV Aura News, and the process is still pending. Democrat MP Bocci declared the Audiovisual Media Authority is in a judicial process. Therefore, the distribution of licenses must stop. How the operators have been disqualified is suspicious and alludes to the creation of monopolies. The operator, Aura News, cannot be excluded from the process. The head of the media authority is in conflict of interest, he said. The chairman of the Parliamentary Media Commission said that treating the concerns of television operators and reviewing abuse cases regarding licenses is an obligation. Majority and opposition members of the commission debated fiercely over the Audiovisual Media Authority's director and his recent family wealth. The Democrats asked for the commission to send a request to the High Inspectorate of Declaration and Audit of Assets and Conflict of Interest for an administrative investigation of the AMA director's wealth. However, the socialist members did not agree to the investigation, declaring that this issue is out of their competence. The socialist MPs asserted that the head of the AMA can be called on to report over the national licenses, but not about his wealth. At the end of the commission meeting, the chairman of the Media Commission, Democrat MP Gens Polo, called the sudden accumulation of wealth by the director of the Audiovisual Media Authority and his family a scandal. As according to the MP Polo, the wealth of the director of the Media Authority and of his wife is €17,000 per year, a substantial increase from last year. Albania's Foreign Minister Ditmir Bushati held a meeting with Federica Mogherini, the High Representative for the EU Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. In a Facebook status, the Foreign Affairs Minister said they discussed Albania's stabilizing role in the region. The post reads, "A friendly meeting with the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Federica Mogherini, in the framework of the Mediterranean Ministerial in Barcelona. We discussed the recent developments in the region. We discussed the latest developments in the region, the stabilizing and Europeanizing role of Albanians in the countries they live in, the vision of Albania as a safe region with democratic state-building processes going on without third parties misusing them. Albania remains committed and willing to contribute to a region involved in Euro-Atlantic course," the statement concludes. Serbia's recent provocation of Kosovo, sending a train from Belgrade to Mitrovica has escalated the conflict between the two countries, which were holding political talks to reach an agreement after Kosovo declaration as an independent state. The EU High Representative Mogherini committed to personally engage in clarifying the recent incident between Kosovo and Serbia. The Ad Hoc Commission on Electoral Reform is not gathering due to another boycott by opposition members. The Socialist co-chairman of the commission, Mr. Balla, reiterated his call to his Democratic Party colleagues to join the commission meetings. The co-chairman added that solutions should be found for the country's important issues, such as the law on party funds and tougher measures in the criminal code for violators of the law. We should resume work in the Ad Hoc Commission on Electoral Reform, as we have important issues that need to be addressed. Once again, I want to highlight the importance of the changes to the laws on political parties regarding transparency of funds and transparency of electoral campaigns. We should prepare the amendment for the law on political parties. So the return of our Democratic Party colleagues is important to making the necessary changes. We should all be together to conclude the issues related to the election standards for the country, declared SMP Balla. Meanwhile, the Democrat MP Flamur Noka, who was present at the Parliamentary Security Commission, repeated the opposition's request for electronic voting as the only way to guarantee free and honest elections. The Ad Hoc Commission on Electoral Reform's operating deadline is February 9th, yet the Democratic Party has boycotted the commission, conditioning it with the electronic voting and counting. The DP chairman, Lulzum Basha, announced the Democratic Party's initiative, Propose Your MP, today, which he called the first step towards a big political turn. In a statement issued to the media, the DP chairman invited citizens to choose their lawmakers. According to him, the country is going through a socio-economic crisis, therefore transparency in elections of lawmakers is crucial. The DP chairman considers the change in politics vital, calling it a national emergency and saying that the governance should be returned to the citizens. Just like 26 years ago, the DP will be guiding this much-anticipated change, restoring the power to the people. The DP starts the change from within. The Democrats and any other citizens can propose representatives for Parliament. These proposals will form the basis of the list of Democrat nominees for MPs who will be subjected to the vetting process. The DP chairman issued an appeal for citizens to be part of the process. Prime Minister Rama declared today that all citizens, including those uninsured, will get the reimbursed medicines for free. Speaking at a meeting about universal coverage and drug reimbursement for 600,000 uninsured citizens, the Prime Minister said that citizens spend less for healthcare service nowadays thanks to comprehensive reforms. 600,000 uninsured Albanians will be reimbursed for their medications. The citizens all have equal access to health care. The service of a family doctor is provided for free, and other tariffs are symbolic, Mr. Rama declared. The Prime Minister went on to say that the healthcare system is currently viewed with suspicion and that electronic prescriptions will begin to avoid corruption. Healthcare is the most prejudiced sector. By reforming the system, we are eventually reducing corruption. Electronic prescriptions were applied as a pilot project in Durrës, and it will enter into force in February. By spring, it will be the only prescription system used nationally. Rama said, adding that electronic prescriptions will end systematic corruption as everything sold will be registered. Speaking about the public-private partnership, Rama said that investments in healthcare will be made through private funds, which will be paid off by the state gradually, a move aiming to keep public debt from accumulating. Many serious investments in healthcare are the result of a public-private partnership. The citizens benefit from public-private partnerships, declared the Prime Minister, expressing his determination to continue with the deep reforms he believes will fight corruption in the healthcare system. For the first time, the Prime Minister announced that this year's budget for healthcare is $500 million. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.